You're listening to Plants and Politics with Gina Bonanno-Lemos. If you're ready to hear the truth about both sides of the aisle, what's really going on in America, and how big money interests prevent change to keep you sick, broke, and desperate, then play on. Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. This is Gina. So I have a couple of updates about Jeffrey Epstein. The first involves foreign leaders that he was involved with, and then also an update about a girlfriend that has now been identified, a woman who he was dating when she was 22 years old, and so the authorities want to talk with her. She was actually referenced in an email between Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. So her identity has now come out. So first, the update about the foreign leaders. So a journalist by the name of Edward J. Epstein, and no, they are not related. He met Jeffrey Epstein at a Halloween party in 1987, is what he claims. He also claims that Jeffrey Epstein bragged that he was, quote, a financial bounty hunter hired to track down hidden money from notorious offshore havens, which is pretty ironic considering that's exactly what he's accused of doing, is hiding money offshore. So this Edward Epstein says that despite all of Jeffrey Epstein's boasting, he never actually saw him seal one single deal. And he claims that when they met, the walls of Jeffrey Epstein's home had photos all over it of Jeffrey Epstein with Saudi Prince Mohammed bin Salman, MBS, as he's otherwise known, who's friends now with Jared Kushner and the Trump family, Emirate Prince Mohammed bin Zayed, and apparently Jeffrey Epstein suggested to him that these were clients. So the journalist writes that he then asked, quote, what about Russia? Any clients there? This is interesting. He claims that Jeffrey Epstein shrugged and said that he often flew to Moscow to see Vladimir Putin. So the other news is about Epstein's other girlfriend. So everybody knows of Ghislaine Maxwell. Of course, she's in prison. But in part of the Epstein and Maxwell document dump that occurred last week, there was an email between Epstein and Maxwell. And in one of the emails, Ghislaine Maxwell is basically imploring Epstein to publicly announce, or she's asking for this woman named Shelley to come forward and say that she was your girlfriend. And she references a time period. And Epstein's response was, I don't have a problem with that. And something to that effect, like, yeah, that's good with me. Well, the New York Post has now identified a woman by the name of Shelley Ann Lewis as the girlfriend which Ghislaine Maxwell was referring to in that email. So Shelley Ann Lewis is a best-selling author of a children's book, creepy, who allegedly traveled on Epstein's private jet numerous times. This is according to flight logs. She also flew with Epstein to New York and to his private island where so many of these reported crimes took place and violations of children. So the New York Post reports that Lewis would have been 22 when they began dating, as I mentioned, and that they started dating in 1999. So he would have been, more than twice her age, I believe, at that time. She now runs a spiritually oriented children's publishing house called Chocolate Sauce. Apparently that's her nickname for some reason. And she runs a meditation center in New York called Sacred Space. So the news reports make clear that she hasn't been accused of or tied to any of Epstein's illegal activity, but she may have valuable and pertinent information to share. They also said that they reached out to her and Lewis refused to comment. And she appears to have deleted her social media accounts just prior to the release of all of these documents that came out last week. So that's a little suspicious. But yeah, so that's where it's at. We now have another girlfriend on the radar, and she was quite young herself. It's going to be interesting to see what, if anything, she knows or what she saw. So as always, guys, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Thanks for listening to Plants and Politics. The only way we can take our country and power back is to spread the truth and build an army. So remember to like, follow, subscribe, and share on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks again.